how's it going? This is the continuation of our broadcast that went terribly wrong and it cut up randomly. So, the question, what was the question that we were being asked previously? Do you remember what it was?
What was it?
I can grab it really quick. There was a really good one by one of my friends, and she said this.
Wasn't that the last one?
Hold on real quick.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, so for Esther, what is her name? Anyways, so one of my friends was just asking like how they can be a support. If somebody is supporting someone through a fight, like should they talk about it with them, with another person? That could be like a church member who is like in a bishopric or like a friend. The reason why they say that would be just that it's such a taboo, but it's really hard to share once their struggle. It can feel like we're sharing too much personal information. However, if we start talking about it, it will stop being a taboo. And that's a really good point. I like that a lot. So what do you think?
So I think it definitely needs to be talked about openly, especially if the person has built up enough courage to tell you about it. Then they really trust you, and that trust that they put in you is almost like relying on you to help them through it. And so just being open about it, saying, hey, how's it going? Like if you need any help. I know one thing that my dad has done after I told my parents was he just told me in the same phone call that I was telling my parents. He said, son, if at any time you feel that the temptation is too strong, you pick up the phone and you call me and I will answer. And having that as a strength and something to know that's there that I can trust and someone that's open to talk about it just gives me that much more comfort.
I think that's necessary to be able to get over it. You need people to be there who will support you through it. Granted, it took a while to be able to be open with other people about it, but now that I know that the people who love me and who are really going to be there to be able to lean on, that they're going to be willing to listen and care for and ask me those questions when it's hard. And they're going to tell me like it is. They're not going to hold back. They're going to say, hey, Krista, stop doing what you're doing. You're not going into where you need to be going. And that's happened in the past too with family members who love me, and they didn't even know what I was going through at the time, but they told me how it was and what I should and shouldn't be doing.
The question also that they were stressing is like, okay, so if say like you had told me that you were going through this and I was the only person that was holding this burden, and you had lost a battle and say we were really like connected and like I was trying to support you. So for example, if a husband was going through it and the wife knew, but the wife felt like she couldn't share it at all.
Yeah.
So the question is, because she probably wouldn't want to reveal that information about her husband because she doesn't want people seeing her in that way. It's such a taboo thing. Should she talk to someone about it? Is there something that is there anyone that she can and also this works for women and men too. Men go through it, but if a husband should tell somebody, and if so, how could they go about it, and who is something they can talk about with?
I think go to a professional if you have the opportunity. Go and talk with a counselor. And don't do it just to complain, but to learn how to work through it and to be able to support someone else and support yourself at the same time. That's I think that will help in the best way possible if it's a reasonable means that you can work with.
Yeah, I know that on a lot of the websites that help with overcoming pornography, there's entire sections devoted to family members and friends of those that need help, and those sections of the websites have great information on how to handle the situations, how to talk with the fighter about this, and definitely going to a professional counselor would be a great idea, great help.
So it just depends on prayer. For me, like I had somebody that was going through it, and honestly, I told I told my parents, but that's because I had known another person had gone through it, and I didn't tell anyone. And I kept it inside, and every time that there was something that went wrong, I felt continuously guilty, and I felt like I couldn't. I just felt like I was completely alone, and that because as a supporter, I mean, when you're rooting for someone, you're really invested in them doing well, and when they lose a battle, it's not exactly obviously, but you feel that pain too, and especially if you really love that person, your relationship with them, and they lose, it can hurt you a lot because you're like, well, we've been working on this, and I trust you, and I believe in you, and it can be really hard, right? So having somebody that you can talk to is really important. And so you have to be very specific about who you talk to. Make sure and talk with the person that has confided in you and ask them, can I tell this person? Make sure that you have that too, because they're doing a huge service, a huge thing by telling you that. So make sure that you have their permission first. And make sure that that person that you do tell is somebody that is completely confidential and will not judge that person any differently. So for me, like my safe person was somebody who had actually overcome it already. And so they understood and they didn't see that person differently, and so it was something that I could talk to them about and be like, hey, and they were really good at giving me advice and at giving them advice. And so this might be the bishop. This might be somebody who lives in like Alaska who doesn't actually know this person, but you love very much. Hold on 1 second. Can you plug my laptop battery in? It's this one. Yeah, just plug it in place of that.
Which, by the way, I actually do live in Alaska, so if you need a hookup.
Yeah. So, I mean, make sure that trust is there, and don't be like, oh, I'm gonna go tell this person. But as you open your heart to that, and then go to that person when you really need it, and that person can be there for you. I was able to be friends with a few girls who had dated guys, and they kept it to themselves for over a year. And it not only ruined that person, their relationship, but it ruined that person's confidence in themselves. I've had so many conversations with people that have had to go through that. This is actually something I want to talk about with them too. That we're doing is we're building a community. We're trying to do that, where people can talk about it. We have a supporter community. People that, you can text that person and be like, hey, so-and-so had a really hard day today. Do you know what I could say to him? And also a community of fighters. And so we want to start off on UAUI campus and kind of start simple and make it grow. Even if we just meet in a classroom somewhere and are able to talk about strategies and coping strategies. Something that we want to talk about, though. I have Skylar, the other fighter. He's starting a blog sharing stories that he's overcome of people who have overcome pornography. So the goal is just to get people to talk about it, and they also AARP and stuff. They have supporter, they've like wives and husbands and family members and friends of people who are going through their addiction recovery. They have a support group for the supporters, and they talk about how to overcome it. So that's really great. But I would love to personally, I can make a Facebook event, and anybody that wants to come and reaches out to me, they're more than welcome to come, and we can talk about how to support those that are overcoming it. I think that this documentary is just a really small part. I had hours and hours of footage of advice, so we really want to get more and more advice out. Okay. Anything else you guys want to add?
I'm excited.
Yeah.
The start group will be great.
I think like the power of this documentary and of like this project, it really it depends on first it depended on Celine and creating it, on us and sharing our stories and those who participated in it. But now it depends on you. It depends on your willingness and your desire to go forward in your lives. What if you're struggling with pornography, if you're struggling with an addiction, if you are trying to help other people fight through it, and if you don't feel like you have anyone that you're helping fight through it, I promise you will have someone who needs to get over a struggle in their lives, and this will apply in your life no matter what. This project, like this documentary, everything about it, it now rests on you. You have to make it become global, because that's where it can change lives and it can give people hope. And this is just the spark to a wildfire that's beginning.
And so we encourage you to share it on Facebook and really reach out to those who really need help. And you're more than welcome to message Love Kills Porn or even me personally, and you can ask us for advice. I mean, like, we've all been through our own personal battles and fights, and we all know tricks and tips on how to overcome it. But like Krista said, like, it all is all up to you. And so you can be a fighter, whether you're helping someone out or whether you are a fighter yourself. You can do so much. So, is there anything else you want to add?
You can message me too.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Anytime.
Yeah.
And so, as we start a community and as we build this, we hope to really let everyone know that they're not alone and that this is something that will be overcome. And so, thank you so much for watching, and we're so grateful for those that have been able to ask us questions tonight. So, with that, thank you so much, and have a good night.
Good night,
Thank you.
y'all.
Yeah.